Good morning, America. This is the Silver Sun speaking, Jonathon, on March the 10th, Sunday, 2024. "23 years into the new millennium. Last night, I didn't go to sleep because I like to stay awake and stare into the dark void above my house. I stare into it, into the depths, into the fathoms of darkness, and attempt to see the face of God. I know it's there somewhere. Good morning to the night, I say. Do thy know? Yahweh? Do thy know? Jehovah? Do thy know? Allah? Do thy know the Bodhisattva? Enough about my meanderings. I bring good news to the people of America. Biden is giving Israel a choice. Either they can have peace and security in their region with a demilitarized Palestinian population on the West Bank and in Gaza, a fortified peace agreement that will bring about a two-state solution. Four times since 1996, Benjamin Netanyahu has torpedoed any type of peace agreement with the Palestinians. Which is very sad and disconcerting. Wondering if these Zionists, these far-right messianic fanatics that have hijacked the Jewish populace, not essentially being pro-Jewish, just pro-Israeli. Judaism? Yes. Israel? No. Judaism is universal. They are a nation of people, of temples, walking around, realizing that they are the center of the universe, trying to manifest the appropriate techniques to be at the center of it. So yes to Jews and no to Israelis. Someone wonders if these Israelis really have Jewish heritage. They are so secularist and, well, there's only one word for it. I mean, you don't have to look to what secularism has done in the 20th century under Mao, Stalin, Hitler, to realize that there's devil worship going on downtown. They confide in demons and demonology, trying to get the best beneficial deal they can by doing a Faustian pact with the devil himself. So, what did Biden say to Netanyahu? Because weeks have gone by since this article on foreign policy, which I have shared on my account on Twitter and Facebook, and it is dated March 1st, 2024 by Ehud Barak. And it's called Israel Must Decide Where It's Going and Who Should Lead It There. So, the Biden administration has presented Netanyahu with a proposal for a new post-war regional order. And there's a number of things here which I'm sure Israel would be wanting to do, such as normalizing Israeli-Saudi relations, establishing a formal U.S.-Saudi defense alliance, a long-term goal of two-state solution, and so forth. But yeah, it's totally seems in the too hard basket for Netanyahu to even rationalize yet consider. He will not quit willingly. He needs to be ousted. He is a snake. He is a viper. He is the so-called little Satan and takes orders from the great Satan. And Biden isn't that person. So, how do we tell the U.S. military, who's in charge, and the CIA, and the NSA, and Homeland Security, like, how do we get the great Satan to talk to Netanyahu to say, hey man, like, you're running out of time. This is not going to work with you in charge. 3 out of 4 Israelis think you failed in not reading your intelligence briefs and being alerted to what was going on at your Gaza border. They suspect that he did this intentionally. Terrorism acts had not occurred in the West for at least a few years now. I would say like the last terrorist attack in France, when they had the shooting at the night at the rock concert, and that was pretty brutal in Paris. And we had that black guy who stabbed a soldier who was walking out of a military base, who was stabbed to death in the throat, and he bled out on the street. What else did we have? We haven't had something major like this happen in Israel's history this is the first time in Israel's 75 years plus of existence where such heightened tensions and feelings for acts of retribution and vengeance and revenge, and thinking that every Palestinian is Hamas, which is not the case. That's ludicrous. And I've been informing myself with some various threads on Twitter that pretty much say outright that Netanyahu let this happen just so he could bulldoze Gaza and bomb them into oblivion, which is what they're doing. So, I mean, I have all the love, compassion, kindness, and caring for Jews. I have no problems with Jews, but they seem to suck up to power figures, people of historical importance, people who are game changers for the system. And they did say to me, almost 20 years ago, that if I ever got into power, they would kill me. The thing is, I've been doing this since I was a kid. I've been part of the New World Order since I was a kid. Yes, I go global. and I travel the world in my sleep. I am a human angelic hybrid. Some people call me the human. If I have no problem with Jews. Jews, yes. Israelis?
There was an Israeli guy, a guy on
No.
I don't remember Q&A.
Judaism is universal.
Here in Sydney on the ABC. And he was an Israeli.
Judaism is a nation that is universal. If you try to secularize Jewish people, turning them away from their faith,
He's pro-Palestinian, even though he's Israeli. And,
letting them live by their own rules, letting them make up what they want to believe, something that's not tried and true and proper, it's bound to fail. But there is a new religion on the march who come with slogans like science is real, love is love, water is life, and injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere. Black Lives Matter. This is the credo of today. And we must subscribe to it. So I read this article on foreign policy by Ehud Barak. I don't know if I'm saying his name right when I say Ehud Barak. He's going to get the guttural or Barak. But Netanyahu has always given in to his right-wing fanatics. He has. 4 times he's had a shot at making a peace deal with the Palestinians, and 4 times he's vetoed that from his yellow submarine. And today, Israel believes that only half of the 136 hostages that have not been released remain alive. That's because they've bombed them into oblivion. They've killed their own people. And the finance minister has said openly that getting back the hostages is not a top priority. Meanwhile, Hamas says, permanent ceasefire, you get your hostages back. They're only willing to allow a 6 to 8 week ceasefire to get the aid in, to get the fuel in, to get the medicines, the morphine, so they can start doing surgery with anesthetic. I don't know what Hamas is thinking. I think
We don't want your money.
I think they had good intel on the event, and they just didn't act.
Well,
They just didn't intercede.
somebody,
And the majority of Israelis believe that. Am I envious of Israel?
well,
No.
university.
Do I want a Christendom? We got one. David's throne is in action. Someone since David has been sitting on his throne in heaven, ruling, reigning, and kicking ass.
Probably.
Someone
Yeah.
said to me
Good on that university,
in a book I'm reading,
the board, for rejecting that money.
and I'm not too sure about the figures, but they said that 100,000 Christians die every year because of their faith. And that kind of blew me out of the water. Like, I know there's places, places in Eritrea and Yemen and Somalia that are strict Islamist countries who impose Sharia law, and they are brutal to Christians who believe, who love Jesus, who have a connection to Jesus, and who refuse to deny him. And because of their faith, because of their belief, they are martyred. And they die brutally. And that's just a reminder of the books in the Bible, such as Jeremiah, who talks about how lost the Jewish people were during his time, and the calamity that was going on with their rejection of the true God. Jeremiah knew. But it comes to this culmination where it is revealed in Revelation that the hour is near, and we are living in the end of days. And that's starkly very true for many Christians who live in these countries. Because these apocalyptic scenarios that are going on in Revelation are being played out in real time right now, in the present day, in radical Islam countries.
And how about Trump
It's just not tolerated.
Prime Minister to Mar-a-Lago? I mean,
There are Christians in Iraq,
why are we letting
Christian towns in Iraq.
dictator into the country? Why is America let? I guess they can't stop him.
There are Christian towns in Israel. There are Christian communities all over Africa. And they're being rooted out
He's described as an autocrat.
and discriminated against. And sometimes killed.
Yeah. There's the papers are wrong.
There's a Coptic Christian community
I spoke
in
to
Egypt
the anchor today.
where Dr. Michael Youssef this morning
Saying that the news
was holding
was that
a
the government is banning
service of worship in Egypt with a translator.
banning people from having funds in the Canary Islands, and they won't allow that anymore.
So
And the anchor said Colin won't be very happy about that.
I say again,
I said,
Jews,
oh, the government is going to
yes,
that
no
money
problemo.
that is in the
Israelis,
Canary Islands and other places that
stop with Jewish, with the Zionist bullshit, okay?
and
It is out of fucking control.
it's just greed. This is what the anchor said. I think it's greed. And I said, well, I think it's greed.
Like,
Money there in the first
I think there might be even better success for just simply one state.
because
One state that does it properly, power sharing.
yes, and I said, well, she thinks it's greed on the part of government, and I said, well,
But you've got them, they're living in apartheid,
elsewhere instead
at,
of paying your taxes.
apartheid at the moment.
Then I started going on.
You have that wall,
She said,
that
fair enough. That's what she said.
that wall of division between the West Bank and Israel. So yes, Jews around the world, you're lucky. You're lucky you don't live in Israel. Because then you'd feel like, well, I was born here. I belong here. I want to die here. Blood and soil. But it's not real. There's no historical connection from the walls of Jerusalem or the Wailing Wall in Jerusalem. There is no historical connection to biblical times in the fourth world. If you can understand it like pieces of pie, pieces of the pie, pieces of the cake.
People should pay taxes on their income.
This is the fourth level.
If they send their money abroad, then they don't have to pay taxes, and that's not
It is a replica and a memory
that's what I
of a world
that's what I said to the actor, my
that we do not know the history
She
of.
might have been surprised. I've always wanted to say that to her, and actually to comment.
And you know why? Because it's not real.
But and she was okay with it. But anyway,
If it was real, then this would be Earth. And we would be able to know the history simply by digging. We'd be able to tap into some a knowledge tree that had been around for millennia. Nothing is down there. There is no tree of knowledge reverberating throughout the earth. This is the new world. Believe that. The Israelis need to process their pain, their enormous anger, their humiliation, their vengefulness, and a sense that all Palestinians are Hamas. Seriously, get a grip. This is getting out of control. 30,000 people are dead. 1/3 of that, at least, are women and children. Get a grip.
she sent me a text message and said, can we talk? This was about 9 o'clock this morning. Yeah.
Put your man pads on. All those girls out there. A pantsuit. So a little story about me, and we'll finish up and we'll upload this to the interweb. I'm here now. I have been for the past 20 years. I'm not lost. I'm just in a process of pushing time forward into the future. Further, deeper, and darker into darkness. Switching the lights on. And seeing all that the light touches.
Jonathan, you're talking too loud. You can hear you out there by the. You're talking too loud. Okay?
I'm on the.
Oh, jeez, Nick, what the fuck?
Yeah, so we're going further into the future.
Yeah, keep your voice down.
Deep into territory
Hi, honey, you heading home?
that is, it's new to me. It seems pretty civilized until I cross paths with Israel 24 News. They seem to be on my case ever since I started watching. They seem to have some diabolical plans cooked up, fresh, off the plate of Commie Central. These people in my head are working for them. They are working for Stalin. Stalin has been resurrected. And he's in the future. And one Soviet black comedic statement would be, the future is known, it is the past that keeps changing. So how did I get here? I flew here. I flew here on a redirected flight on Thai Airways that was redirected as a result of my cousin, Luke O'Dwyer. Luke O'Dwyer, at the time, I was in London of 2004, September, around August, September. I was told by him in informal robo language that I would show up somewhere that I've never been before and that I better realize what to do and how to escape. I did not know what to do, but I knew I was not in Kansas anymore. But I was broke. I had no money. And all I could do was walk and get my job done. Take care of my education, squander 3 or 4 years of my life, inherit a mental disability, and be subsequent to taking psychotropic medication for the rest of my life. That is because Luke, my cousin, who did this from London, from right next door to the Tower of London, where the mayor he was working for worked. The mayor at the time was not Boris Johnson, but someone else. So I flew to a reality that was a copy of my home, a clone world that was a copy, not an accurate copy. I noticed many different changes. The license plates on cars, certain sandwich places, hangouts, they simply closed and got refurbished as another business. This all happened in a matter of years. But I knew that I was in trouble, and I knew that I was earning my stripes as I walked with faith and belief in Jesus Christ and the one true God. Little did I know that my father had sold me into slavery. Little did I know that his superior, Curtis Strange, had sold off my being, my soul, my spirit, my testicles, my birthright, my crown, my blood, my temple. Where he is now, somewhere on the other side. What did I do to deserve such bastard parents? I don't know, but it feels like I got disowned. It feels like I was used and abused by the church and by clergy simply so they could work in real estate in heaven. And take all of it for them. Virunga, known as the Little Vatican, they had Josephites, they had Jesuits, they had Patrician Brothers, yeah, it was a mixed bag in Warringah. But anyway, I need all the help I can get to get back to the real world and to save myself from everlasting slavery. Because it works like a totalitarian, authoritarian situation here. It's totalitarian slavery that goes on in this country. And Luke, the inner child of Luke, has been taken slave by Jacinda Ardern, who has resigned from her post because of her commitment to keep him prisoner and used for spare parts. That's my cousin. So how do you think I'm going to be treated when I die here? I need all the help I can get. If you're able to assist, if you're uni, if you're schooled, if you know how traversing in the fourth dimension works, I would like to shift all the way back, going down subsequent levels to the real world. And have it done in 12 to 16 hours. So, that's it. That's all I have to say for now. I wish I could articulate more to you about my situation, but there really is nothing more left to say. Just like Joseph was sold into slavery by Reuben, the birthright of Jacob, who was renamed Israel, who gave birth to 12 sons named after the 12 tribes of Israel. Which my spiritual name, one of my spiritual names is known as Joseph. So that's quite fitting, the fact that Joseph was sold into slavery. But yeah, I mean, I know Joseph's story, and it's pretty jacked up. I don't have any gifts of that nature that can decode dreams and understand the imagery and the symbolism. I can't do that. One of my best gifts is my memory. And people say it's deadly. It's almost meta. And it sucks because from 2004, from December 2004 to December 2021, I had been on a serial losing streak on regular basis, and I have these memories in my head, and it's not my fault. It's just I'm surrounded by evil. I'm on the map. I'm getting hijacked from place to place by clergy. They know that they're going through Red Dawn and through dangerous wilderness, and it's just one tragic event after another. It was pitiful. Oh God, it sucked. So sure. It has been getting better. But them, Stalin, communists, they're worried that I'm going to escape. And they're worried that I'm going to go back to the real world and people are going to audit me and they're going to know how to navigate in this country and the way that I went. Some people call me a waymaker. Well, I did make a way. And it did take 15 years. It will be 5 years this September. That I finished that way. So, that's my story for now. That's all I wish to say. But if I could ask of you one thing, help, please. But please watch Oasis's Wonderwall, Champagne Supernova. Watch the end of it. Help. Please. Please help me. I don't want to die here. I'm a servant to many, a well-deserving people. I service them sexually. I give counsel. I baptize. God is using me in ways that I do not totally understand. He's doing things through me that I cannot do by myself. If you can say a quiet prayer for me, that'd be nice. If you can speak to the right people, and your timing is right, it could be the catalyst that I've been waiting for. If you get the message out, you discuss the options, we go through the breakdown, the extraction plan, and we get the fuck out of Dodge. Please help me. Over and out.